Los Angeles High School in 1938. But he soon became known as the student of life as he sold newspapers and spent most of his time in the local libraries reading and writing to his heart's content until 1943. At this time, he became a full-time writer. Some of his first works included The Martian Chronicles in 1950 and The Illustrated Man in 1953. He wrote Fahrenheit 451, which is considered by most to be his best piece of literature. This book about censorship was given the Prometheus Award in 1984, which is awarded to libertarian fiction novels. Throughout his career, Bradbury has published over 30 books, nearly 600 short stories, as well as many poems, essays, and plays. He has also adapted 65 of his stories for television's Ray Bradbury Theatre, and has won an Emmy Award for his teleplay of The Halloween Tree, in addition to his award for Fahrenheit 451. He has also been awarded the O. Henry Memorial Award, the Benjamin Franklin Award, the World Fantasy Award for Lifetime Achievement, and the Grandmaster Award from the Science Fiction Writers of America, the Penn Center USA West Lifetime Achievement Award, as well as many others. Now, to Gladys Moshashashaj to interview our special guest.
Hi, my name's Gladys Medgen, and I'm here on the Chase Lab to talk to you about what's his name again? Is it Brad? What's his name? What's his? Oh, Ray Bradbury. That's who I'm here to talk to today, and here he is. So, Mr. Brad, what would you say about your book? That fire thing. That one.
Well, set in the 21st century, Fahrenheit 451 tells the story of the protagonist, Guy Montag. At first, Montag takes pleasure in his profession as a fireman, burning illegally owned books, and the names of their homes, the homes of their owners. Montag soon begins to question the value of his profession. He meets a girl who's about 17 years old named Clarice McClellan. Now, she is a space cadet, to put it the least. She walks around looking at trees and all that stuff, and is completely unlike anything else in his society. Her house is different and all. She's different. He has a wife named Mildred. He calls Mildred Millie. Millie doesn't really know where she is. She overdoses on pills, and she takes a lot of addiction to interactive television, and she's sucked into the television reality because television's killing America. Montag begins to question the ways of the world. Society is wrong, books have no meaning because all books are basically illegal, and it's all television, meaningless nothing. Then Montag steals a book and reveals he has a collection of books in the vents of his house. So, yeah, it's pretty problematic because they're illegal. So, anyway, Montag refuses to go to work eventually because he's sick. In other words, he's sick of his job and doesn't want to face his boss, who's psychotic, to put it the least. Captain Beatty, that's his boss, comes to talk to him. Boy, is that a conversation, because he talks about how books are evil and how we want you to come back to work there, Beatty. Unsure of well, Montag, because Beatty's already in work. Unsure of what to do with the books, he meets up with an old English professor, Faber. Now, Faber is a coward, hiding out in his house, scared of everything because he likes books and got run out of his job on a rail and now is stuck in his house. He has a very tiny TV, by the way, very nice. He then hides his books in the backyard before going back to work to try to infiltrate the firehouse and find out how to change stuff. It's my own book and I can't even remember it. Then he burns his house. Well, he doesn't burn his house. His wife turns him in for having all these books. So then Beatty and all the fire officers come in. He has to burn his own house down while he watches his wife drive away in a taxi because she doesn't love him anymore. Pretty sad, actually. But after burning the house, his fire chief's gonna say, Beatty's gonna say, you're under arrest. And Montag's like, no, I don't want to be under arrest. So he turned the fire hose and sprays liquid fire out at Beatty. And then Beatty catches on fire and burns and curls up like a wax doll. Then after he kills the chief, there's this mechanical hound that's chasing him. The mechanical hound is like society's way of catching criminals, you see, and it's a very, very scary piece of stuff. Anyway, it ends up chasing him. He's on the run, and he jumps into a river, and all that fun stuff, and he ends up escaping to the railroad tracks, where he meets a bunch of other book people who have memorized their books. But throughout the entire book, there's a backstory going on that no one even knows. It's a war. There's a war going on. Jets flying all over and no one knows. And then it all ends with the city getting blown up. Montag's okay because he got out. But now those people who know all the books have to go back to the city and help rebuild the society with books. Spoiler alert.
So, Mr. Bradbury, that was very interesting. Now, could you talk to me about that one scene with Miss Clarice, you know, when Montag meets her and he gets so involved in the books and stuff.
Oh yes, the scene where Montag meets Clarice. Well, Montag walks up for work and meets a girl named Clarice. This is important because Clarice is different from the rest of society. She asks questions. She notices her surroundings. She doesn't only think about herself. She understands things, and it's very important because she changes how Montag views society and the world and life. He sees things differently because he meets her. He has become attached to her after only a few meetings. It's very, very beautiful part. If I do say so myself, I wrote the book after all.
And next, I think we're going to talk about you. No, we're not. We're going to talk about Montag meeting up with Faber, who is this, I don't know, is this really smart guy. And so why don't you tell us some more about that?
Well, Montag is running from his life for these books because he doesn't know how to read, basically. He can read, but doesn't understand. So to get help, he goes to meet an old English professor who knows a thing or two about good books, named Faber. It's a good name. Anyway, he meets Faber. It's important because Montag then teams up with Faber because he finds out that there are intellectuals still in the world. And he teams up with one of them to try, and it kind of affects the whole plot of the book. Because she teams up with Faber to revolt against society, and it kind of leads to his house getting burned down just a little bit.
So, that was so interesting, Mr. Bradbury, yet again. So good at that. So, what about this last scene? Could you tell us about Montag fleeing the city? What was going through his mind? And why is it important, like, when he meets up with those smart people? Because, you know, we don't see many of those nowadays.
A funny thing about that, he burnt everything and was running, see. Well, he ends up meeting on a railroad a group of intellectual people who had books memorized, because if they're caught with written books, they'll be burned. So they, have their books memorized and they'll pass it down orally. And yeah, it's important because Montag finally finds out about this underground railroad of sorts for books, to keep books alive until society starts seeing them favorably again, and it basically is how Montag will spend his future trying to save books without using books, using his noggin.
Alright, there you have it. Ray Bradbury.
Here's my house. I have to go talk with my uncle. You know, we actually talk at my house. So, Montague, are you happy with your life? Bye.
We looked, and I saw him step in on the mat. We looked, and we saw the cat in the hat. And he said to us, "Where would you like? Why do you sit there like that?"
Hand it over, guy.
No!
Hello, Montag. We've been waiting for you. Here in our group of intellectuals, each of us have memorized a book, and we have become part of a living library.
I'm the Book of Job.
I'm Plato's Republic.
I'm Gulliver's Travels.
And I myself have memorized the first chapter of Walden, along with many other great pieces of literature. If you join us, Montag, you will find yourself very much at home. Our purpose here is to spread the books and knowledge to the people once society realizes the great importance of books.